In the previous video, I showed you how to make and insert a block, and we're still looking at that drawing now. And I want you to understand that that block, this block called star, is only local to this drawing. I happen to be working on drawing 5. I never gave it a name, so it's using that default name. This is the only drawing in the world that knows about this block called star. If I were to start a new drawing, drawing 6, and I went and tried to insert, you'll see that there's no blocks available to me. If I do -I, there's no default name. This drawing just doesn't know about that block called star. A couple of different ways that you can make it available. If you think that this might be the only drawing that I'll need star on, besides the one that I created it in the first place, you can simply grab it and grab any version of it, doesn't matter. Pick it, and I can right click and go into the clipboard and copy it to the clipboard, and then go back to here and right click and go to the clipboard again and paste into this drawing. And now this drawing also knows about the block called star. And I could do an I for insert and insert star here. Now I'm on layer 0, or excuse me, I'm on layer object, so it took on the properties of the layer object. All of its rules that held true in the drawing that it was created in hold true in the drawing that it's now been pasted into. So that's one way. But if I decide, you know what, I need that block called star all the time, in either drawing that has it defined locally, what we want to do is make it available in all other drawings. And what we do is write the block. Now remember, this position on the insert tab was taken up by create block. Previously I was playing around with the write block command, which is underneath it, so I picked it and now it floated to the top. I'll pick it again and it's still on top. And now this dialog box is kind of a mess. It asks us where we want to store the block and what we want to call it. It doesn't even ask us what the block is that we want to write to the hard drive in the first place. Okay, that's what this command is called, W block or write block. And now what we're going to do is write it as a file to our hard drive or to our network drive, wherever. And what I like to do is kind of ignore this part, and I like to kind of come back up to the top and say I want to write a block, and I'll go through the list of blocks that are stored in this drawing. Surprise, surprise, just star is in this drawing. I pick that, and then I'm going to ignore all of this stuff, everything. I'm not going to worry about any of this junk. Advanced material, we'll cover that in future videos, but for right now, all I did was say I want the block called star that's local to this drawing to now be stored in this path. And I'm going to pick a better name for that, or a better location for that. I created a folder called blocks in my documents folder. You can keep it on a network drive or whatever makes sense so that everybody in your organization can access it. But here's what I'm going to do. Notice that it gets a DWG extension. I'm going to name the file after the block name. So I'm basically creating a small drawing called star that's going to be stored in that blocks folder, and save. And it says save, but it really just populates this box right here with that path and that file name. And I'm going to say OK. And now it's like I just saved just this to a new small DWG file called star in the blocks folder in my documents folder on my hard drive. Now if I go to yet another new drawing, and I can just pick this plus sign right here, that's the same as quick Q new Same as picking that button. So you can pick that or pick that to start a new drawing using your default template. And now, if I go back to the Insert tab, and I go here to Insert, you're going to see that, oh, there aren't any in here. So what do I do? Well, it's not very easy from this button here. But if I type in I to bring up our palette, what I can do is go to the current drawing, go here. Where am I going to go? Display several modes list, libraries. I don't have any libraries. I hate this. This is the new interface. It's not as easy to use. So I'm going to cancel out of here. And I'm going to type in classic insert, something I'm familiar with that makes more sense to me. And there's a way to make classic insert be the command that actually gets executed when you use the insert command. I'll leave that as homework for you. But I'll type in classic insert, and now pick the block name. I can't get this. It's only looking in this drawing. Doesn't know about it. Now what I can do is browse the hard drive, and now I can browse into my blocks folder. There's my star block, and it's just like inserting it as if it were defined locally. Now it's going to go out here and find that, put it down wherever I specify on the screen. I'm going to use 1, 1, and 0 as my X, Y, and rotation angle, and I'll say OK, and there's my block called star using the classic insert command. Now that is local to this drawing. Now this drawing knows about the block definition called star. If I went up here, you can see it listed. If I went to yet another new drawing and I typed in -I block name, I'm going to use the down arrow to look at my options. All I've got as an option is a question mark, and it's only going to show me blocks that I've got. Kind of stinks. There's no real, in the old days before we had dialog boxes that made us or allowed us easy navigation to the folders where they're located, we had to do a lot of typing to get to there. I'm going to hit escape, okay? And what I'm going to do now is modify where AutoCAD looks for it so that when I do that -I, which is my preferred method of inserting a block, so it finds that block automatically. What I'm going to do is, with no command active, I'm going to right click and go to the bottom and pick option, or I can type in OP, that would work also. Options, and I'm going to go to the Files tab, and I'm going to modify the support file search path. Where are all the files that I might need to support my work? Where are they located? I'm going to add to my support file search path. And here I'd have to type again. I don't want to do that. I'll navigate using the browse button. And I'm going to navigate to my C drive, Craig, documents. Whoops. I'm going to navigate to documents. I'm just going to pick it over here. Documents. There's my, I'm going to use this shortcut to get to my network version of documents. And that's where I created my folder called blocks. And now that folder, I'm going to go ahead and open. Dumb name should say add. I'm going to add that path to where AutoCAD searches for things. Now when I just give a name in response to certain file searching tools like block or the insert command where it asks me for a block, it'll automatically look here. If it doesn't find it in there, it'll look here, look here, look here, and finally it'll find it in here. And because of the magic of computers, that's a very quick operation. I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to do my -I and hit enter. And when it asks me for the block name, I'm going to type in star, and it finds that automatically, and I can go and insert it. Whoops, and then I got to answer those X, Y, and rotation angle prompts, and I typically hit enter, 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 because 99% of the time I drew it as wide and as tall and at the correct orientation in the first place. So I just hit enter to accept 1, enter to accept 1, and enter to accept 0 for the X scale factor, Y scale factor, and rotation angle of 0 defaults. So there's some information on storing a block globally using the write block command and then adding the location to the search file or to the search support file search path. Now, let's just say for some reason or other, let's go back to our very first one, that, oh man, this is kind of an ugly star. I want that clean in there. I'm going to pick it and right click, and I'm going to say edit this block right in place. And it's going to say, what block do you want to edit? And I'm like, well, the one I just picked, but we have to double over ourselves and say, okay, that is the block I want to edit. And now you're in like a whole new world. You're editing that block, and I'm going to trim. And I'm just going to trim that and trim that and trim that and trim that, trim that, say enter. Yep, that's a much nicer looking star block. And I'm going to save those changes. And all reference changes. Yep, I'm kind of in a whole new world here. It's not real obvious, but I'm in editing this block and this block only. And when I say OK, now I'm done editing the block. I'm back working on the actual whole drawing. All insertions update to become the new version. Now, the fact is that block or that file that we wrote out to the hard drive called star that's in our blocks folder, that still looks like the old version. We would have to use the wblock command again and override or overwrite the previous version. This drawing and this drawing still think star or still knows star looks like that. Only this drawing has been edited for that update. You would have to wblock again and then update those other drawings to get the new version, or any new drawing would automatically bring in the new version of the block called star.